Hi, I'm Sammy Frank Millwall III, and has anyone in this room ever wondered what races, like eight different Asian people are? Like you just walk into a room and you're trying to figure out if that person's Japanese, Korean, or Chinese? Has anyone ever wondered that? Yeah, alright, well good. Because today I'm going to be explaining to you how you can tell the difference between different Asians. And the reason this is important is because, according to our media, a firm specializing in reaching diverse ethnic groups nationwide, Asians were the fastest growing ethnic group from 1990 to 2000. Although they have now been overtaken by the Hispanic ethnic group, it is still important care to learn what Asians are what. And therefore, in 2050, 40.6 million residents in the United States will identify themselves as Asians, according to AsianNation.org, a one-stop information resource about Asian Americans. So why is it important to tell the difference between Asian races? Well, one, with the increase in Asian immigrants and Asian American born children, it is crucial to educate people on the different cultures so that no one is offended. Also, from personal experience, I do just like being called Chinese even though I'm Korean or Japanese, and so do a lot of other Asian people, because it just doesn't flow very well with us. So my roadmap today is, how are you going to tell the difference between Koreans, Chinese, and Japanese? By one, the food they eat and how they look. So first of all, the food they eat. One quick way to tell if a person is Korean is if that person is eating kimchi, the traditional dish of Korean families, which is served at every single meal. Kimchi is a very spicy, sour, putrid cabbage that has been fermented in the ground for about 6 to 8 months. There are two different types of kimchi, which involve a summer kimchi, which is a little bit more thicker of a taste, and then winter kimchi, which has a little bit less of a sour, putrid taste to it, although it's still very good and it has to eventually grow on you. Kimchi looks like a head of cabbage with a flaky red sauce all over it. And another way to determine if someone is eating kimchi is if by the odor that it gives off. Like I said, kimchi is a very smelly food. And at first glance or at first taste of it, you probably won't like it, but it does grow on you. A closely related food to the Chinese is wonton soup. Food by Country has explained wonton soup being a boiled pork dumpling wrapped in wonton skin and served with shredded egg and chicken broth. The dumpling itself looks like a meat-filled pasta, but without any of the pasta. For the Japanese, it's a little easier to tell the difference when they eat their food, because traditionally they slurp on their noodles. And the reason they slurp on their noodles, according to chowhound.chow.com, is that they slurp on the noodles in order to tell that the cook who prepared their food that it was very delicious and that the way of preparing it was a very good job. The second way to determine how you can tell the difference between different Asian races is by their facial features. Asian heritages, you can notice that very many Asians look pretty much alike. And it's a very typical stereotype, but that's also another way that you can tell the difference apart from them, because there are very minute, small differences. Koreans tend to have flatter faces with higher square cheekbones and smaller and single eyelids. I am Korean, so this is kind of what Koreans sort of look like, but there is a bit of German in me, so it does take away from a portion of the Koreanness. While the Chinese tend to have browner faces than both Koreans and Japanese. However, with China being such a large country and so many ethnic minorities are in China, including Vietnamese, Indonesians, and Filipinos, it's very hard to determine when someone's Chinese. So the best way to determine if someone's Chinese is pretty much guessing that the Asian person is Chinese, because there are so many Chinese people in America, and they are actually the largest ethnic group of Asians in America. Then the Japanese. The Japanese tend to have a longer oval facial feature with structure of wider eyes and larger eyes and more pronounced noses. Also, Japanese women tend to wear a thick makeup, giving them a pale white complexion. And this was all regarding okay, never mind. The last way to determine if someone is Asian is simply by going up to them and asking them if they are Asian. Most Asians are very polite because it's from their heritage and from their family. So many traditions tell them to be polite to strangers. So if you go up to an Asian person, you just say politely, "What race are you?" They will most likely tell you. Even I will tell you if you come asking me. But more Asians get angrier if you ask them, or you try to guess what race they are, and you get it wrong. So in conclusion, Koreans tend to have flatter faces and eat kimchi, while the Chinese have rounder faces and eat wonton soup. And the Japanese have a long and oval facial structure, and they slurp on their noodles, because it's traditionally okay for them to do that. And there are many ways to tell the difference apart between different Asian heritages, including the food they eat, the way they look, and just going up to someone who is Asian and politely asking what heritage are they. So for now, you guys now know how to tell the difference between Asians. You can easily go up to any Asian in this Carroll University and figure out what they are, so that now you not feel weird or awkward around them. Thank you.